Welcome dear learners to massive open online course on self-learning material development. Dear learner, in this video we will focus on advantages of self-learning material on conventional mode of teaching. Dear learner, as we all know that conventional mode of teaching is more or less chalk and talk, where teacher plays a very important role and students remain passive in the classroom. So, let us compare self-learning material and conventional mode of teaching over several dimensions. The first dimension is pace. As we all know that in a traditional classroom teaching, all the students are supposed to receive instruction as per the rate of delivery by the teacher, and students who are slow learner may lag behind very easily. As far as self-learning material is concerned, it is highly individualized and every learner proceeds at his or her own pace. As far as the technical requirements are concerned, classroom teaching requires minimal technical requirement, whereas self-learning material when it is presented in print form also requires no, you can say, technical requirement, whereas when self-learning material is presented through technology, it may require laptop, personal computer, headphone, but this is not a, you can say, big issue, because in these days everybody has his or her own laptop or PC in the institution. As far as course fee is concerned, the conventional mode of teaching is requiring course fee on the part of learner, whereas self-learning material may be both free and paid course which are available on the internet. Another dimension is about examination. Supervised examinations are conducted in conventional mode of teaching, whereas there is no supervision as far as the examination in self-learning mode is concerned, and there are chances that the students may indulge in malpractices, but this problem can be overcome when we give students online mode of evaluation. Another is that flexibility. There is no flexibility as far as conventional mode of teaching is concerned, whereas the self-learning material can be used by those who cannot attend regular full-time course. That is, the self-learning material can be accessed by the student at any time which is convenient to him. As far as motivation level of student is concerned, teacher provides lot of motivation in the classroom, because there are competition among peers and rewards from teachers keep them motivated. In case of self-learning material, because they are studying alone, so motivation is less, but the content can be made more interactive by including more illustrations, graphics or video or audio clipping, so motivation level of the learner can be enhanced. On another dimension, that is self-discipline, students in the conventional mode of teaching are more disciplined and they have positive attitude towards the teacher, whereas self-learning material, learners who are deficient in time management may lag behind, so they need to keep with the pace of the learning material. As far as social interaction is concerned, there is always face-to-face communication between the teacher and the learner in a conventional classroom teaching, and there are chances of working together in a collaborative mode, whereas the self-learning material is studied by the individual individually, and the students are involved in independent learning, so there is minimal social interaction with the teacher. However, we can incorporate emails or discussion forums or chats in order to enhance the interactivity among the students. Language is a barrier. Assistance of a teacher to overcome all language barrier, that is, the teacher can give further explanation if the student has not understood anything, whereas language of SLM is very simple. In case the language is difficult, then it may pose a problem if the self-learning material is not presented in a well manner. Follow up, other activities in different places and at different times as far as conventional mode of teaching is concerned, whereas in case of self-learning material, it is highly self-contained and all information is supplied along with the self-learning material, maybe the audio clipping or maybe the video clipping. Teaching input, it is highly characterized in the form of lectures in a conventional mode of teaching, whereas in self-learning material, it involves a combination of learning experiences in integrated manner. It may include graphics, pictures, diagram, video, etc. Instructional strategy, in a conventional mode of teaching, there is only one way of communication, that is the teacher is telling and students are supposed to listen, whereas a variety of instruction activities and media are presented to complement the teaching learning process. As far as student role is concerned, in a conventional mode of teaching, it is highly passive, whereas in case of self-learning material, student remains active and he or she proceeds at his or her own pace, and in case of conventional mode of teaching, the students are provided knowledge of their input after the exam is over, whereas the practice task and feedback are inbuilt in the self-learning material. So, dear learners, in this video we have learned the advantages of self-learning material over conventional mode of teaching. So, if the self-learning material are prepared very carefully and are handled very efficiently by the learner, it can go a long way in the transfer and retention of knowledge among learners. Thank you very much.